92.9 The Lake, playing the greatest hits of all time. We've been teasing it all show long. He is finally here. Meteorologist Zack Fradella on the line. Zach, what's up, man?
What's happening? How's the new year going for you?
It's going pretty well. Can't complain, man. Had some pretty good interviews so far. It's shaping up to be a pretty successful 2019 right off the bat. How about yourself?
It's been good. You know, I got married at the end of last year, so we're still just kind of recovering from the whole wedding thing. But, you know, starting a new year right, about to, buy a house and things like that. So going good.
Wow. Congratulations, man.
Thank you.
So the big news this week, I saw it on Facebook. You've been reporting on it all week long. It's going to get a little chilly here in Southwest Louisiana. Yeah,
we have a huge cold blast that's going to come rolling out of Canada this weekend. And the funny thing is we're going to go from, say, upper 60s to near 70 on Saturday morning in Southwest Louisiana to feeling like the low 20s, maybe even upper teens by the time we get to after midnight, Saturday night into Sunday morning. So it's going to be a huge, say, shift in temperatures, and it's going to kind of shock our system. The good news is the temperatures are moderated a little bit. Earlier this week, we were thinking, maybe some low 20s even down into Lake Charles, but it looks like the temperatures have backed off just a little bit. It's not going to be as cold. So I think everybody in and around Lake Charles along I-10 and points to the coast shouldn't have to worry about any, say, pipe problems. Maybe far north, the DeRitters of the world, Upper Vernon, portions of Upper Beauregard into Upper Allen parishes. Those areas might have to worry about the pipes, but I think for the most part, this is not going to be a huge pipe bursting freeze, where some of the models were hinting that it might be earlier this week.
Well, I tell you what, this Canada front coming in, it could have brought us some poutines instead of this cold weather. Have you ever had a poutine?
I have not.
I've never had one either, but I've seen pictures on the internet and they look absolutely fabulous. Now let me ask you this. How in the world, and I've always wondered this, so this question may sound a little juvenile, but I've always wondered this since I was a kid. How in the world does the weather stay that cold coming all the way from the north all the way down here?
One of the big keys to that is snowpack. When you have a lot of snowpack to your north, the temperatures don't moderate as much. So when you have a lot of snow on the ground, it's like being in the freezer. Usually there's ice all around the freezer for the most part. That keeps the air colder. Also, cloud cover could keep the air colder underneath that cloud cover. That air is not allowed to moderate from sunshine and things like that. So when we have a good snowpack to the north, that's one of the kickers that we look for as far as, hey, when we have that big snowpack to our north, we got to watch, because any kind of batch of cold air coming out of Canada, it's probably not going to moderate much, and it's going to make it all the way down to here. Another thing is the polar vortex. Everybody, with the media now, they go crazy over certain, say, words, and one of those terms that we use in weather is the polar vortex. It's usually at the North Pole. But when we get a ridge of high pressure over the North Pole, it gets pushed somewhere. And in this case, the polar vortex has been pushed farther down into Canada, so it's farther south. When that happens, it's easier for that really, really cold air to get pushed into the States and then eventually maybe down to the Gulf Coast. And this isn't the end of it. Just this weekend, this is kind of the first batch of it. The pattern favors multiple hits of cold air over the next, say, 2 to 3 weeks in early February. And there are even some hints, maybe a Gulf low sometime middle of next week. So that's going to be our next kind of thing to watch for. Gulf low and cold air, you mix the two together, and I won't say the word.
Oh, hold up. Are you talking about snow?
I'm not saying it's going to snow, but I'm just saying that next week we'll have a Gulf low mixing with some of this cold air, so it's something we'll be watching over the next few days.
Zach, it better not snow. I don't know if you remember this last time we talked. I got a $100 bet with both of my kids, so that means I would have to be shelling out 200 clams if it snows.
You might have to. Who knows? Last year we got lucky. It kind of played out perfectly. Really, the whole state saw some form of snow. This go around, it's going to be a close call. It's just one of those things that I don't know if we're going to have enough cold air this go around, but I want a few more model runs maybe into early this weekend. We get a few more model runs to kind of figure out what's going to happen for the middle of next week. But at the very least, it's going to be a very cold rain come next Wednesday.
Yeah, man, I tell you what, if it snows, that would be absolutely epic, because the past few years, it's been doing its thing, and I kept telling my kids, do you know how rare this is, what time you're living in here in Southwest Louisiana. It never snows like this, but yeah.
We've been lucky. It's been the past few years we've just kind of hit it perfectly at least once every year, and even in last year we hit it twice. One was really a good snow. The other one was more like ice, and nobody likes ice around here. Yeah, at first when it's falling out of the sky it's fun, but then we turn into a mess on our roads too.
Well, Zach, where can people find you on social media and the web?
You know where all the places are: Facebook, Instagram. I'm all over Twitter as well, but Stormcast Live, Stormcast Forums, I've been running that since I was in high school. Those are the two places. It's a big weather forum that we have that's across South Louisiana. A lot of good people on there, a lot of professionals on there, a lot of professional meteorologists that post from time to time. So it's a good place to get all of the model information and get all of the, say, early information. Right when the models are coming out, we're talking about it on there. So stormcastforums.com or stormcastlive.com.
Yeah, and I tell you what, your website is absolutely amazing, because when I look at the weather forecast, I want to see great visuals, and you are generating some great visuals on stormcastlive.com.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. It's how does it pertain towards the general public, you know, making it easier on y'all to know what's the weather impacts that are coming, and that's what I try to do. And I'll be, you know, adding some things, maybe a thing called a Zackcast and stuff like that, just to make it a little fun over the next few weeks.
Meteorologist Zack Fradella, thank you so much, sir. Have a good one, and get well.
Yeah, you have a good weekend.